Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. Today's deck is going to focus around the Mega Absol EX with the Disaster Wing attack. Now Disaster Wing is a bit of a risky attack. I mean, it's guaranteed to hit for 80 damage, but it can hit for a potential 160 damage if the top card of our opponent's deck happens to be a trainer card. So that's kind of cool. Again, it's a bit risky, but we're going to try and lower the amount of risk that we will be taking by running 4 copies of the Trick Shovel item card. So this will allow us to look at the top card of either player's deck. Ideally, we'll take a look at the top card of our opponent's deck. If it's a trainer card, we'll leave it there, and then we'll attack with the Mega Absol EX, hitting our opponent for 160 damage. Unfortunately, 160 is lacking with respects to allowing us to get those massive one-hit knockouts. However, we are running a total of 3 copies of the Muscle Band as well, allowing the Mega Absol EX to hit for that magic 180 damage. Pretty much enough to knock out any non-Mega EX Pokemon, with of course the exception of the the Wailord EX, which has that 250 HP. So Muscle Band and the Trick Shovels should allow the Mega Absol EX to hopefully repeatedly get those one-hit knockouts. Now, in case we've managed to use up all of our Trick Shovels and we don't have any more in our deck, our ace-spec card is going to be the Dowsing Machine, so this will allow us to reuse those Trick Shovels in case those are the cards that we are looking for. So Dowsing Machine is a pretty cool card. We are running this as our ace-spec card, and if that is not enough, then we have our very last resort card, which is going to be the Melodic. Whenever we evolve the Phoebus into the Melodic, we are able to make use of the Sparking Ripples ability, allowing us to put any of our discarded cards back into our hand, which could of course potentially mean that Trick Shovel in case we've already used all of ours up. So Melodic is a pretty cool Pokemon as well, guys. We are running a total of 2 copies of him in our deck. Now Phoebus is very weak, only has 30 HP, very easy to knock out. The opponent could pick him off by Pokemon such as the Landorus EX, maybe Trevenant, or Darkrai EXs, just with respects to attacking. So I feel like Mr. Mime goes a long way in this type of deck. With its bench barrier ability, it will prevent all damage being done to any of our bench Pokemon by our opponent's Pokemon's attacks. So Mr. Mime's a very, very cool Pokemon. We are running a single copy of him as well. Just very, very useful. Will prevent those our relatively low HP Pokemon from getting knocked out in a single attack. Some other Pokemon that we are running in our deck, guys. Yveltal is going to be one of the main Pokemon that we are running. It's probably going to be the main attacker of our deck until we ultimately manage to bring out the Mega Absol EXs. Oblivion Wing will allow us to look for a discarded Darkness Energy card from our deck and then attach it to one of our bench Pokemon as well. I also like the fact that the Yveltal EX has some resistance, whereas the Mega Absol EX has the weakness. What I mean by that is that the Mega Absol EX has fighting weakness, whereas the Yveltal has the fighting resistance. So it can be nice in case we happen to face a Donphin deck, for example, or a Landorus EX deck. Yveltal could hopefully cripple our opponent's Pokemon to such an extent that Mega Absol EX can then come in for the one-hit kill. So we'll be running 2 copies of the Yveltal in our deck, and the very last Pokemon in our deck is going to be the Darkrai EX, mainly for its ability, which is the Dark Cloak ability, allowing each of our Pokemon that have any Darkness Energy cards to be able to freely retreat. So Darkrai EX is a pretty important Pokemon, I would say, especially since most of our Darkness Pokemon are relatively bulky. So we are running 2 copies of it in case one happens to be prized. So that is pretty much all of the Pokemon that we are running in our deck, guys. Again, we have a very, very heavy emphasis on the Trick Shovel item card. Also, our Stadium card, which I briefly want to discuss, is going to be the Shadow Circle. There are quite a few popular fighting decks out there. Variants of the Primal Groudon EX deck tend to be especially popular. Landorus EX in combination with the Bats are out there as well, and of course Donphin decks are still present. So I feel like Shadow Circle is really going to go a long way in our Mega Absol EX deck due to the fact that we do have that fighting weakness. So we'll be running 3 copies of the Shadow Circle in our deck. I feel like those are pretty much all the cards that really needed discussing, so the other cards we're going to go over very quickly. We're running a single Escape Rope to allow us to switch in between our Pokemon. 1 Starling Megaphone to deal with Garbodor. 4 Ultra Balls will allow us to grab onto any of the Pokemon that we need. 2 VS Seekers to reuse any of our supporter cards. 2 Colruses, 4 Ends, and 4 Junipers for some draw support. 2 Lysanders to lure out any of our opponent's bench Pokemon. 3 copies of the Shadow Circle, which I have already discussed. 3 Muscle Bands will allow us to increase the total damage output of the Mega Absol EX, allowing us to hit for that magic 180. and a total of 14 Darkness Energy cards. So with that, we're going to go and find ourselves an opponent, and we'll see just how well this deck is able to perform. And yeah, so that is going to be it. Again, I feel like Melodic is going to be a pretty useful card in our deck, especially in case we are desperately looking for a Trick Shovel. So let's go and flip the tails, and awesome, looks like we're going to get it, so we will be able to start first this time around. No Pokemon in our hands just yet. Looks like the opponent is running a Steel deck, and the Altaria as well. Okay, so I think the opponent may be running a Haxorus deck, given the fact that he does have the Altaria, which of course tends to work only in combination with those dragon type Pokemon. Alright, so let's go and start off with the Yveltal as our active Pokemon. I'm going to go and attach a Darkness Energy card to it, and looks like we're seeing a Dialga EX as well. Gonna be saving those muscle bands for the Mega Absol EXs. Shadow Circle, I don't think we really need to bring it out just yet. So I'm gonna go and use the N to get some new cards in our hand. We have the Ultra Ball, so I'm gonna go and use that to get rid of a Darkness Energy card from our hand and a Lysander as well. Bring out an Absol EX so that we can hopefully bring out the Mega Absol EX during our next turn. That would be ideal. And then with that, we're gonna go and end the turn. The opponent does have the Dialga EX, can hit for quite a bit of damage. Luckily for us though, we do have the Mega Absol EX, which has 210 HP, so that is well outside the one-hit knockout range of the opponent's Dialga EX. Okay, so we do have the opponent's Jirachi as well. With the Doom Desire ability, that could spell a little bit of trouble for us, especially if we're unable to freely retreat our Pokemon. Let's go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Absol EX, a Muscle Band as well, and then use the N. And awesome, looks like we do have a Mega Absol EX in our hands. So I'm going to go and lay down another Absol EX and the Mr. Mime as well onto the bench. Let's go and bring out the Mega Absol EX, and then that is going to be how we end the turn. All we need is another Darkness Energy card, and then that Mega Absol EX is loaded up and ready to go. Hopefully we can draw into another supporter card during our next turn, guys. We're seeing a Swablu make its appearance, so I'm sure our opponent must be running some sort of dragon deck. I mean, I haven't seen any just yet. So our opponent is running a bit of an unusual deck, especially with that Jirachi with the Doom Desire ability. We're seeing the Pokemon Fan Club. I'll definitely be saving the Escape Rope. I don't want to discard it. I am worried that the opponent's Jirachi will somehow force our Pokemon to stay. Maybe not. Maybe the opponent is just running a very weird sort of deck. He is going to be using the Diminutive Desire attack, allowing the opponent to look for one card out of the top 7 and then shuffle the other cards back into their deck. So I was actually considering using the Jirachi, but then to rearrange our deck, but of course that would waste our turn. Sorry, actually, I'm actually thinking of another deck right now. My apologies, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go and attach the Darkness Energy card onto the Mega Absol EX. I'm not really gonna switch into it just yet, because we don't have the Darkrai EX, so we don't have that free retreat. And again, I want to save the Escape Rope for a little bit later. So let's go and use that Oblivion Wing attack, hit our opponent's Jirachi for 10 damage, and look for that Darkness Energy card to latch it on to our second Absol EX. Alright, so our Pokemon are slowly getting loaded up and ready to go. The opponent is going to use the Chair and Yasuo. By this point, I'm pretty sure that the opponent is just running a bit of a random deck with a lot of random cards. I mean, I was thinking there was some sort of concrete strategy there, but I think I was looking into it a little bit too deeply. The opponent is going to use the Doom Desire, so this means that the Yveltal will be getting knocked out if I'm unable to retreat it, but of course I did save the Escape Rope, so we'll be making use of that. Let's go and use that Escape Rope. Force the opponent to switch his active Pokemon with one of his benched Pokemon as well. Finally, well, it looks like the Swablu is going to be coming out, but yeah, let's go and bring out the Mega Absol EX anyways. Let's go and use that Juniper to get some new cards in our hand. We have another Mega Absol EX in our hand, and I think I'm gonna go and bring it out. So let's go and evolve that Absol EX into another Mega Absol EX. I'll be saving the slot for one of the Darkrai EXs just so that we can get those free retreat costs. That Jirachi could again spell a little bit of trouble. I could potentially just Lysander it out as well though and get rid of it before it becomes a bit of a menacing threat. The opponent is going to use the Cheren once again, get some new cards. And I think the opponent is probably running quite a few Pokemon cards in their deck. I mean, just a very sort of strategy that's all over the place. We are seeing the Evo Soda, probably going to see the Lairon coming out is my guess. I mean, I don't really see the opponent that's bringing out the Altaria. Okay, so it looks like I was wrong. Altaria is going to come out, and it happens to be the one with the Midnight Eyes and the Song of Echoes attack. I really have no idea what type of deck strategy our opponent is running. Seems to be sort of all over the place. It could be a bit of a new player just starting out. The Double Dragon Energy getting latched onto that Altaria, it is going to hit us for 30 damage, and luckily for us that Mega Absol EX is going to wake up. I don't need to make use of the Trick Shovel just yet, so we're going to hold off on that. I'm going to go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Evil Toll. I mean, I could get rid of our opponent's Dialga EX, but again, I'm not particularly worried about it. So let's just go and use the Disaster Wing, hit our opponent for a massive 180 damage, and draw onto our first prize card. So things are looking pretty good for us. I may just have to find ourselves another opponent, because again, I don't feel like our current opponent is a very experienced player. We're seeing Chern again. The opponent has a whole ton of cards in their hand. Not really sure if any of them is going to help them out a great deal. We are seeing a Steel Energy card getting attached to the opponent's Jirachi. I'll absolutely be getting rid of it during this turn before it can make use of the Doom Desire attack. And let's see what the opponent does. He's going to be able to look for one of those cards and then add them onto their hand. Yes, so that is going to happen. We'll be getting rid of the Jirachi. I think I'm going to use the N, reduce the number of cards in our opponent's hand. Again, I'm not particularly worried with respect to what our opponent is running. Sorry, let's save that slot for the Darkrai EX. So I'm going to go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto one of our Evil Tools for the time being. Let's go and use Disaster Wing, hit our opponent for 100 damage this time around, and then draw onto a prize card. We haven't really made use of any of our Trick Shovel cards just yet, but now that the Dialga EX is finally our opponent's active Pokemon, I feel like now would be a good time to get that Trick Shovel and then get rid of our opponent's Dialga EX with a single attack. So no Trick Shovels in our discard pile just yet. We do have two Junipers in our hand, so we can absolutely... I think there's a pretty good likelihood that we can draw onto a Trick Shovel. That Dialga EX will be making use of its Chrono Wind attack, so that will prevent our Mega Absol EX from being able to attack, but I can retreat it and then bring out our benched Mega Absol EX, which is probably what I will be doing. So let's go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Evil Tool, use that Juniper to get some new cards in our hand, and finally we're able to draw onto a Darkrai EX. Let's go and retreat to bring out that Mega Absol EX. Man, we are getting extremely unlucky. No Trick Shovels just yet, so we're taking a gamble, and actually I forgot that this Mega Absol EX does not have a muscle band attached to it. Do we have any other discard pile? No. I do have the escape rope though, but then of course that means that the opponent, the Dialga EX, will be able to retreat as well. So I'm gonna have to simply end off our turn by using Disaster Wing, hitting our opponent for 160 damage. We would have been able to get that knockout had we the muscle band latched on to the Mega Absol EX. But unfortunately we didn't, so it looks like the Dialga EX was able to survive with 20 HP remaining. Not sure if he's going to go for the Full Metal Impact attack this time around, probably the Chrono Wind, and okay, it's actually going to retreat, so I guess we are seeing that Float Stone come in handy. The opponent is going to use the Wicked Jab, flip the tail, so unfortunately for our opponent, our Mega Absol EX will not be put under the sleep condition. I don't know if I really want to get rid of our opponent's Dialga EX just yet. I'm going to go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto our Darkrai EX. And yeah, let's just go and get rid of our opponent's Bisharp and draw onto an... Oh, right, I forgot it has 90 HP. My apologies about that, guys. I'm not really thinking, I mean, the opponent's not running all that competitive of a deck, so I'm not particularly worried. And the opponent is going to use the Ultra Ball. I think we may see the Lairon coming out, and it looks like it's going to be another Swablu. Again, I'm just confused by the inclusion of Swablu in the opponent's deck. I mean, it just seems like a Pokemon that people really should not be running. I'm sorry to say, but I don't see any sort of functionality with the Swablu. Looks like the opponent is going to get the heads this time around, so I'll be making use of the Dowsing Machine. Let's go and get rid of the N in our hand and the computer search for the time being to look for the escape rope and force both ourselves and the opponent to switch his active Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. I think we're going to bring out the Mega Absol EX with 120 HP remaining, or you know what, let's go and temporarily bring out the Evil Tool for now. I'm going to go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Darkrai EX. Could knock out our opponent's Dialga EX if I really wanted to, but I don't think that it's all that important. I don't think it really matters which of our opponent's Pokemon I knock out and in what particular order. I think I may just use the Darkrai EX as our Pokemon to finish off our opponent. So let's go and use the Darkness Blade for now, knock out our opponent's Aeron, and then draw onto a prize card. Unfortunately, our Evil Tool will not be able to attack during our next turn, but that's okay. Hopefully I can bring out the Darkrai EX and get a double knockout. What I do need, however, is an additional energy card just to allow me to get that double knockout. So the opponent is going to bring out another Bisharp. Really hoping for the tails after the opponent does use the Wicked Jab attack. Because I mean, if he manages to flip a head, then he will be able to prolong the game a little bit more. We are seeing the Metal Claw attack though. Alright, so Colress should hopefully come through for us. And okay, we don't even need it. So yeah, so that's going to be the game, guys. I do want to apologize with respects to how slow of a game it was, but I will absolutely be finding ourselves another opponent where we can really see the Mega Absol EX in action. Alright, so let's go and find ourselves another opponent where we can really start making use of those trick shovels and start showcasing how powerful of a Pokemon that Mega Absol EX can be. One thing that I do dislike about the Mega Absol EX though, guys, is the fact that it lacks a Spirit Link. I feel like it's just unfortunate that we always have to give up one of our turns whenever we do want to evolve into the Mega Absol EX, but that's okay. I think it is something that we can live with. Alright, so it looks like we're going to start off with the Absol EX as our active Pokemon, so I will be bringing it out. Hopefully we can get a Juniper or something like that. I don't mind getting all of these energy cards into our discard pile just because it's... Okay, so another energy card. So let's go and attach one to the Absol EX for the time being. And then end the turn. I may just have to resort to using the Colress during our next turn, guys. Hopefully the opponent can bring out a few more Pokemon onto their bench, or an N would be absolutely helpful to us as well. So we're seeing the Repeat Ball, another Zubat making its appearance. We do have that Darkness resistance, so that could potentially pay off in case the opponent decides to attack with either the Golbats or the Crobats. Which I'm not really sure is what the opponent is going to do. Okay, so we have the Juniper, so that is absolutely what I will be using. Let's go and attach another Darkness Energy card to our Absol EX. I'm going to go and use the Trick Shovel, look at the top card of our opponent's deck, and okay, so it's going to be the Computer Search. I'm quite happy to get rid of that, and I'm just going to say hi and good luck to our opponent. Alright, so let's go and use that Juniper, get some of those energy cards into the discard pile. I'm gonna go and bring out the Yveltal as our active Pokemon. I could attack, but I mean, there's no way that I can absolutely get rid of the opponent's Zubat in a single attack. So let's go and use the Ultra Ball to get rid of the Shadow Circle in our hand, and an energy card as well to finally bring out our first Mega Absol EX. So let's go and bring it out, and then that is going to end the turn. So a massive 210 HP Pokemon. I feel like those bats are going to have a bit of a difficult time trying to knock our Pokemon out, well, at least our Mega Absol EX out. So hopefully that will work in our own favor. I think I'm going to not be playing down any of our, sorry, what's it called? Any of the Phoebuses, just because they're very easy to knock out for our opponent's bats and things like that. Alright, so we're seeing a Shaman EX make its appearance, a Pikachu as well. Luckily for us, that Pikachu is outside of the range of being able to get that one-hit knockout on us, and the opponent has just brought out the Pikachu. We're seeing an Ultra Ball, another Shaman EX making its appearance. Okay, so it looks like it is going to be a Pikachu and Bat sort of deck. So this is definitely going to be a lot more competitive of a deck that we will be facing. The Super Scoop Up, the opponent is going to get the heads. Shaman EX laid back down and draw onto some additional cards. Silver Bangle getting latched onto that Pikachu, my goodness. Hoping that the opponent does not have a Wally card, because I mean that Wally and him being able to bring out that Pikachu could spell a little bit of trouble for us. Could use the Escape Rope, but I don't think it's the greatest card. I'm gonna go and use the Trick Shovel because I will have to resort to using that Juniper. So let's look at the top card of our opponent's deck, send that Raichu into the discard pile, use that Juniper to get some new cards in our hand. I'm gonna go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Yveltal for the time being. I could bring out another Absol EX, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that for now. No, you know what? Actually, let's go and bring him out. So let's go and get rid of the Darkness Energy card from our hand and the Melodic to look for an additional Absol EX. So let's go and lay it down at play. I'm gonna go and lay down the Shadow Circle as well, force the opponent to get rid of one of his Pokemon that he has in their bench, and hopefully decrease the total damage output of the opponent's Raichu. So let's see what our opponent decides to discard. I'm almost positive it is going to be the Shaman EX. The opponent is just taking a bit of time deciding, but I'm almost entirely sure that we're gonna see the Shaman EX going into the opponent's discard pile. So yeah, so it looks like the opponent just watched one of my videos as well, so that's kind of cool. Always do appreciate it when people are actually watching my videos. So let's go and use that Disaster Wing, hit our opponent Zubat for 80 damage, and then draw onto our first prize card. Alright, so just gonna ask the opponent how they liked it. Sorry, so let's see. I apologize, guys. Again, my train of thought is very easily lost when I am trying to reply to people, so I do want to apologize about that. The Raichu is going to come out. Currently, it can hit us for 110 damage, so it is lacking a little bit of damage output from being able to get that one hit knockout. We are seeing the VS Seeker, and it is going to be the Colress, so the opponent will be able to get 6 new cards. Really hoping that the opponent is unable to bring out another Skyfield Stadium card, because I mean otherwise that Raichu would still be 10 HP short from knocking out our Mega Absol EX if the opponent is not able to bring out another Skyfield Stadium card. So that's really what I'm hoping for, guys. And we are seeing the Colress, so the opponent is going to get some new cards in their hand. The Pikachu is going down, and another Skyfield Stadium card. So yeah, it looks like the Mega Absol EX is probably going to get knocked out, as provided of course that, okay, no, so it looks like we aren't seeing another Pokemon coming out. So that's kind of cool. Looks like that Raichu is actually going to lose this, sorry, it's actually going to get knocked out during this turn, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to save the Trick Shovel for later. Let's go and attach a Muscle Band. I mean, yes, I want to ensure that the opponent's Raichu does get knocked out, and I don't really need the Trick Shovel for that. This Muscle Band, I'm going to hold off on it for now. Let's go and use that end to get some new cards in our hand. Going to go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Absol EX, and then let's go and use that Disaster Wing attack, hit our opponent for 180 damage, and then draw onto an additional prize card. So let's see what our opponent decides to bring out this time around. Probably going to be a Crobat, just because he would of course be able to freely retreat it, and I mean, if our opponent is able to bring out another bat, then unfortunately that would spell the end for the Mega Absol EX. And alright, so it looks like it's actually going to be the Pikachu that is going to come out as our opponent's active Pokemon. I'm almost positive that they have a Raichu at hand. Otherwise, of course, I don't really foresee the opponent as bringing out the Pikachu for no reason. Could, of course, make use of that quick attack and knock out our Mega Absol EX regardless. So that is, of course, a possibility. So let's see what the opponent does. Alright, so Raichu is going to make its appearance. Hopefully, we don't see a Crobat coming out, because that would mean that our Mega Absol EX would be getting knocked out. Yes, it looks like the opponent is going to use that Ultra Ball. Positive that the Crobat is going to come out and get rid of the Mega Absol EX. Okay, no, it looks like it's actually going to be another Pikachu. Maybe the opponent has a Crobat at hand. Yeah, Repeat Ball, so I'm thinking that's going to be used for the Crobat. And let's see if I am right. No, another Raichu. Okay, so it looks like I was wrong. Maybe, alright, so the opponent is going to get rid of our Mega Absol EX using his Raichu. Not something that I was really expecting. Let's go and bring on the Yveltal as our active Pokemon. I'm going to go and attach the Muscle Band to him. Lay down at Mr. Mime. I think he could come in handy later on, especially with those Crobats, which could potentially snipe our bench Pokemon. Going to go and lay down the Darkrai EX as well. And we'll be using the Colress to get some new cards in our hand, guys. So it looks like it's just lagging a little bit. When I did decide to play down that Darkrai EX. So let's go and use that Colress, get some brand new cards in our hand. We could potentially win by decking out our opponent, but I don't think that's a very likely scenario. I'm gonna go and attach a Darkness Energy card onto the Darkrai EX, and then let's go and attack with the Yveltal, the Oblivion Wing, hitting our opponent's Raichu for 50 damage, and then attaching one of our many discarded Darkness Energy cards onto our own Darkrai EX. So maybe we can use our own Darkrai EX to snipe some of our opponent's bench Pokemon. Our Yveltal is certainly going to get knocked out during this turn, so that is a little bit unfortunate. We're seeing the Trainer's Mail. The opponent will be able to look and draw into any of the trainer cards that he sees from the top 4. Looks like it is going to be the Super Scoop Up. Maybe their opponent is going to harvest and retreat that Raichu and put it back into their hand. Possibly those Crobats as well. We are seeing the Jirachi EX. May see the Lysander and the opponent trying to knock out either the Darkrai EX or the Absol. I'm not entirely sure. We are seeing the Super Scoop Up. A Tails on the opponent's end, so that's unfortunate for him, but a very positive sign for us. So alright, so looks like our Yveltal is unfortunately going to get knocked out. I'm going to go and bring out the Darkrai EX as our own active Pokemon. I feel like using the N would probably be the way to go now, guys. Don't really think our Mega Absol EX is going to see a whole lot of action anymore. So you know what, I'm going to go and try to potentially deck out our opponent. Maybe it may pay off. Let's go and get rid of the opponent's Ditto and see what the other top card in their deck is. And it looks like it's going to be another Skyfield Stadium card. Absolutely will be getting rid of that. Darkrai EX, let's go and lay another one down. Yeah, I don't really want to draw into it again. Let's go and use that end to get some new cards in our hand. And then I'm going to go and attack with the Darkrai EX's Night Spear attack, hitting our opponent for just the right amount of damage to knock it out, and then hitting our opponent's benched Raichu for 30 additional damage as well. Alright, so if the opponent is unable to knock out our Darkrai EX during their turn, we should be able to win if I Lysander out his Jirachi EX and then go for a double knockout. So hopefully that's how things end up working out, but I'm not entirely sure they will. Maybe the opponent has something in their sleeve, and okay, so just gonna tell the opponent that their English is perfectly fine. I know a lot of people that watch my PTCGO videos, for example, don't exactly have the greatest English, but that's absolutely fine. I feel like as long as you guys put the effort, I can definitely understand the bulk of what you guys are saying. So let's see. It doesn't seem like my last message was sent, so okay, so I don't know why my messages aren't being sent right now. Sorry. And the opponent is going to use the VS Seeker. I'm thinking we're going to be seeing the N, and let's see if I was correct. Maybe a Lysander as well. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that the opponent can go about doing their turn, but I think N would definitely be the wisest choice on our opponent's part, just because it would prevent them from losing during this turn. So it looks like they used the VS Seeker to look for a Lysander. So if the Darkrai EX manages to survive, and it looks like the opponent is going to get rid of our Mr. Mime. Okay, so unfortunately that is going to spell the end for the opponent. So that was an unfortunate mistake that they made on their part. I felt like otherwise they could have potentially won if they had looked for an N, for example, and then gotten rid of the Lysander from our hand. So let's go and bring out the Darkrai EX and then go for the final knockout. So let's go and Lysander out the opponent's Jirachi EX and then use that Night Spear, hitting our opponent's Jirachi EX for 90 damage and knocking out that Raichu, allowing us to draw our very last 3 prize cards. So that's going to be it. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.